DIMANCHE collection is maybe its specificity is about the simplicity. I wanted to really keep all the shape simple, something that would be timeless, but still giving it some character. So I worked mainly on the details of the construction, the joints between the elements, and also to have the trolley. For me, this was an item quite evocating kind of old times, something that we've used in the past, and how to make it contemporary within the collection. So last year in March I visited IDÉE here in Tokyo it was the first visit for me to Japan, so a good occasion also to meet up, and then we discussed, that was the first discussion about DIMANCHE collection. So IDÉE wanted me to revisit the Paysan collection. That was an early collection from IDÉE, which was about very comfortable pieces, but very classical. And the aim is, my project was to renovate this concept of Paysan, so make it more contemporary. And straight away I had lots of ideas that came to my mind of something lighter, something using natural material, which is something I work a lot with wood and a mix of upholstery. So after our meeting, when I went back home, I started to gather together images that would, to me, evocate the concept of the renovated Paysan. And then from that we started our discussion and met again in Brussels a couple of months later, I think. And then we really set up the brief for the project, decided on which items to work. And my idea was really to develop a sofa mixing a visible wood structure with cushioning, and IDÉE was more expecting a full upholstered sofa. So it's been a big challenge for me, big struggle on developing my idea, and at some point I thought, okay, this is really what I feel doing, and so I worked in that direction, and at the end I was happy that IDÉE liked that idea. So the collection really started on that sofa piece. Once the general idea is set, then it's a really enjoyable work for me to make it work, to translate the ideas I have in my mind into a real product. And so it's very nice also now that I'm back here to see the finished collection in the shop. It's very nice. So it started in 2007 when I exhibited for the third time in the Salon Satellite, and I was presenting a collection of a few items, a desk, chair, coat hanger at the time. And so then I met with Itoshi Fukushima from IDÉE, and they were interested in my collection. But as I had already agreed to work with another company, we decided to develop a new collection for IDÉE. So the brief was very broad, simply design something in the same spirit, and the only indication was a table, chair, some small item. And so the project was very, very quick. I think we decided in May, and it was launched in September, October during Tokyo Design Week. So it was very nice for me because it was the first time I was doing such a collection for a client, and I also received a lot of trust from IDÉE to do my own project. So it was really very enthusiastic for me to work on that. And then I think it was maybe 3 years later, I did a stilt collection. So this was a very large project again, and for that I developed one feet element that I then used on the whole collection of cabinets, open shelves and closed cabinets, and a desk and a chair. And then so finally, after all those years of collaboration, I came to Tokyo and that was actually even the first time I saw some of the items in real from the past collection I did. Last time I stayed about a week, I think, in Tokyo, and then for a couple of days in Hokkaido. So Hokkaido for me was really amazing to see the factory where they make the Stilt series. It's for me very nice to see the people that actually make the furniture and see how it all works. So for me, I was really amazed with Tokyo, just walking around the streets. It's totally different than in Belgium, especially the architecture. I think here it's very, very free. All the houses are different. You don't have the same, I think, architectural beauty that you have in Europe. It's very stylish house, but this is something I'm very used to. So here, for me, it's more the bizarre or strange architecture that I'm very attracted to. Well, it's started a long time ago. I've always liked working with wood. Already as a kid I was making things with wood. I think partly because it's a very easy material to start to work with. And then my studies, I studied design in England in a school which was in an area very well known for furniture making. And also in the same college there was a woodmaking course, fine crafts course, very famous as well. So we had access to very good workshops. So I think that also pushed even more my work with wood. And also the college I did, we were very pushed on making prototypes for each project. And so I continued that after my studies. I always had a workshop to build my own prototypes. So I think that's one part of my attraction to wood, and then also that it's a natural material that has a life on its own, so each piece is different. And also I like to work quite simple shapes, quite neutral furniture in a way, but then with the wood I think it gives life to the piece without needing decoration or this type of elements. And also one last thing I would say is that it ages really nicely. I think wood items, more you use them, nicer they get, especially with solid wood, like now with the DIMANCHE collection. So I live in a 1900 house, so about 100 years old house, which is in Brussels is the most common period where houses were built. So many houses are very similar, so it's quite classic 3 floors house. Each floor you have 3 rooms in a row, so it's quite old architecture with plasterwork on the ceiling, wood floors. We renovated the house in a slightly more contemporary way, but we kept also many features from the past in the house. So also the decoration of the house is, I would not say minimal, but kept quite simple, because I don't like to have too many things around me. Then my studio is about 10-minute walks from my house, so very close by, and that's a very different type of building. Although it's from 1925, I think, so it's fairly old as well, but it's always been a kind of semi-industrial building, so it's a very basic square shape. And at the studio it's divided in different areas. I have a showroom space, which is open to public, and then I have my studio space on the first floor with a workshop on the ground floor. So yeah, it's a different style as the house, much more neutral. Also where I work, I want the space to be very white and kind of a blank canvas. I can work my collections on and view the items without being distracted by the architecture. So once a month at the studio I host lunch every last Friday of the month. I call this vendredi, so which is Friday in French. It started because I always liked cooking and always thought, okay, I could do some kind of a table d'hôte, so like inviting people on a large table. And with the studio, I had the space for that, and I thought it was a nice way to bring customers to the shop in some non-commercial way, because also my studio is not at all in a commercial area, so it's not somewhere people would pass by chance, people that come because they know it. So I thought it was a way every month to remind people about my place, and then on the other side to have an enjoyable moment with people coming. So once a month I send an invitation by email, and people have to book for the table. I take up to 20 people, and everyone sits at a very long table that I have just on the first floor of my showroom. And I cook myself all Friday morning. I usually shop the day before and I cook in the morning, and I have someone helping lunchtime for serving and so on. And it evolved a little bit, the people coming. Initially it was more friends, family, a few customers, and now slowly people know more and more about it, so I get people I don't know. Some people take the opportunity to come to the shop, so they come a first time at the lunch, and then another time they will visit the shop again. So for me it's also about making the space lively, not only the commercial side of it. This is more an extra element that comes into it, and I think people really enjoy coming in my own studio, although they don't see really my studio space during the lunch, but they come and they know I cook myself, so I think that what's attracting people. And it's very casual dinner, so I have a set menu, everyone eats the same, and it's very relaxed, people serve themselves. I usually try to have some time to sit down for coffee with the people.